I've been using the Apple Watch Series 9 for 2 weeks now, and this is going to be my review of it so far. I ended up coming from a Series 5, so this was actually a bigger step up than I was thinking. One, from a battery life perspective, general performance, but most importantly, its looks. I ended up with an always-on display, and it's definitely the Apple Watch that I would recommend to most people with a Series 5. However, what I really like about this is its slight curved edges. It makes it look a lot more modern, obviously, because it is modern, but I do know that some of the older models did have this as well. But when it comes to it, I think this just looks really nice. And I think the first place to start off for me personally, and explaining my thought process around this, is going to be the actual looks of the device. So I ended up going for the Starlight color this year. I was considering maybe silver, but I kind of find silver and space gray a bit too bland, and Starlight has just a nice little bit of a tint of gold into it that isn't too overpowering. It doesn't make it look too much like it's something that's gold, and it doesn't make it look so much like it's just silver. It sits in that really nice middle ground that makes it look sleek, means that you can wear it with other things. That was one of my big pet peeves with my Series 5. As with my Series 5, it was just this black box that sits on your wrist and just looks like a sport band. I didn't like it, I didn't want it, and with that I also went for the blue braided strap, which basically just means that it sits really nice and snug on your wrist. It stretches around your hand so it gets on really nice and tight, means that you're basically got that perfect snug fit, and for me this looks really nice. I really like the look of the clock face that I went for, where it's blue, it matches the strap, and then also that Starlight color really helps when it comes to making it just look that little bit more sleeker. But sadly, we can't do a full review of this device just yet. And there is one big reason for that, and that is the double tap feature, the feature where you're just doing this, the pinching. It is still not available yet. It is early October. It's apparently coming out this month, so we'll see when it is and what it's like. But yeah, I have definitely found scenarios where it would have been useful, because I didn't realize that it wasn't coming to the Apple Watch right away. So I remember being, let's say, holding some things in one hand or doing something when I was, let's say, cooking an omelette, and I was trying to read a message and I couldn't, so I had to use my nose and do the nose tap. But overall, it is the case that hopefully when it does come, it will actually have some utility. I know that some people say that this is a feature that, has been on older ones. I even said it in my unboxing. However, from what other people have been talking about with this device, it does seem like it is actually an improvement over just the accessibilities option. It has something to do with the upgrade in processor. And talking about that processor, we have the S9 chip. Now, is it anything that's outstanding versus, the S8, S7? Not really. I couldn't really tell you. From what you know about Apple Watches and general, software limitations, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. I wouldn't say that I've seen a massive bump in that performance. I have definitely seen the apps open and it's a lot more smoother to go around on this device than any of the ones previously. However, I wouldn't say that it's something that's going to make people have like a groundbreaking moment in their life where they realize that this Apple Watch is the one for them. This device is also the first carbon neutral product Apple have ever released, which is definitely cool. However, like I said in my unboxing video, they shouldn't have spent so long talking about carbon neutrality, as it kind of set up the fact that they didn't really have much else to talk about. However, it is definitely a cool thing for anyone who is massively interested into that side of, the world and everything like that, and wanting things to be as carbon neutral as humanly possible. It's definitely a cool step in the right direction towards their goal of 2030 carbon neutrality. So let's talk about the battery life. The battery life is definitely something that I haven't really noticed an issue with, and the fast charging on this device has been really great as well. On the Series 5, it didn't have fast charging, or at least I don't believe it did. It definitely charged a lot slower than this one did by, miles. Overall, when I put this on charge, it's either really early in the morning, just after I've woken up, because I'll wear it during the night to track my sleep. More on that in a minute. But in regards to it, I either charge it just as I wake up, or just before I'm about to go to sleep for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I can quickly pop it back on, and it's either fully charged already, or it is 60, 80%, and it's going to make it through the night anyway. So for myself, I've seen zero issues with its battery life. I know some people make complaints, and a funny story that I always find amusing is that when I worked on customer services for a company in the UK, I remember someone coming in with their Apple Watch complaining that it only lasted 18 hours. And I was like, it does literally say on the packaging that it lasts 18 hours. You weren't misled. And he was like, no, definitely was. Yeah. It is 18 hours battery life. It's not all day, sadly. I would love to see a baseline Apple Watch that could last the whole 24 hours, but in most use cases, most people will only be using this for either their whole sleep to quickly charge in the morning and then they're back at it, and they won't really notice too much of a difference between that and their extra 4 hours anyway. So I did want to talk about the sleep tracking, as this is something that I do find really interesting and something that I want to work on myself a lot more, which is my sleep. I've actually really enjoyed using it on this device. Two big ones for me is that for some reason, I hardly notice this thing is on. It might just be because I've been using it more and I've gotten more used to it, but I feel like the strap is so snug and just right that it means that I hardly notice that I'm wearing it most of the time. But in regards to its actual sleep tracking, it's pretty much been perfect. It's bordering like weirdly good in terms of how like noticeable it is. The only times, like, okay, sometimes it will say that I've woken up and I don't recall it, but most of the time a lot of people do wake up during the night and they don't remember doing so. So overall, I really like the fact that this is actually becoming a little bit more, you know, tuned in and becoming a bit better. Obviously it's not perfect, but it is definitely getting there, and it's definitely a nicer experience. May not be just because of the watch itself and the upgrade to this one, but it could just be the OS as well. Workout tracking is basically the same as every single year anyway, ever so slight improvements, and I wouldn't say again this is necessarily a reason to upgrade to the Apple Watch, but I would definitely say that it is a nice experience on this device. Everything just seems to run really smoothly. On the Series 5, I did have moments where things like the actual tracking would crash, and I had once where I was doing a 5k run and it just crashed mid-run, which was very annoying. It meant that, you know, it didn't continue tracking it. Whereas on this, I've had zero issues so far. So with that all being said, I would 100% say that this Apple Watch is worth it for anyone using a Series 6, Series 5 or anything prior to those releases. As you end up getting enough of an upgrade that ends up justifying the purchase, you can also get it in a nicer colorway than the previous models, and just means that it can look good with other outfits. That's one of the big things, like I said earlier, that really attracted me to going for this color. But overall, in terms of the look, in terms of the functionality, this is probably, in my opinion, the best Apple Watch, as obviously it is. It's right now the best Apple Watch outside of the Ultras and so on, but I couldn't justify to myself getting an Ultra. However, for most people, I would say this thing will work perfectly well. If you're on a Series 8 or Series 7, I probably would say leave it a little bit. Wait until either the Series 10 or Series 11 comes out. And with that all being said, if you do enjoy tech videos, make sure to check out more videos on this channel. I upload twice a week, so if you are interested, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video if you want to see more videos like this one. I'll be talking about the OSs of both the Apple Watch, the iPhone, and possibly down the line, the iPad as well. So if you are interested in that, make sure to leave a like on this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to follow me over on Instagram, make sure to go do so. It will be linked down below, or you can search Adams_tech_. Couldn't get Adams Tech, sadly. And if you are interested in a nice slimline wallet, check out minimaldesigns.com. All down below, it's designs with a Y instead of an I. So with that all being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.